For this last part of lesson 2.4, we're going to compare China and the United States. And so we're given some information here about the population and land area back in 2010. And we want to use our estimation skills. Is the density of China more or less dense than the United States? And then we're going to estimate how many more times different they are, and then we'll actually do the calculations. So let's get busy. So writing things down helps me organize my thoughts about something like this. So I'm just going to recopy the information about China and the US. So let's make a table where we have the country's population, country's area, and then we can use those to think about the density. So we have, let's see, United States is given first. Population is, back in 2010, 309,975,000 people, roughly, in an area of about 3 million square miles, almost 4 million square miles. So area is in miles squared. And then China had over a billion people. And their land area, separate these a bit, is pretty close to ours. Wow. So 3,705,000 versus 3,717,000 square miles. And so just estimating here, the land areas are pretty close. So the population, how many times the population? Well, if you just think about the 3 times 4 would be 12. So it looks like China has maybe at least four times the number of people we have. So if we're thinking of just population and we look at, say, China over the US, then it looks like China's about 4 to 1 people compared to us. And since the area is about the same, then I would say it seems that China is about 4 times more dense. China is about 4 times the population and density, since the area is pretty close. I'm just going to say density, 4 times the population density of the US. All right, so think about that, write some stuff down like this, and give the next couple of questions your best answer. The next thing I want to do is make some calculations on the density here, and I can either do that in a calculator or a spreadsheet. So I'm going to do it both ways for fun. So let's move this. Excuse me. And I have Desmos here. So in Desmos, if I want to calculate the population density of the United States, I would take the population in 2010, which was 309,975,000. Looks good. And divide that by the area, which is 3,717,000. And so I get a population density for the US of about 83 people per square mile. Right, remember the numerator is people, denominator is square miles. Similarly for China, China's population was 1,339,190,000 divided by China's land area, 3,705,000. I get about 361. And think about 80 times 8 times 4 would be 32. So here I can see it's more than 4 times. China is more than 4 times. So we could divide those two. But next, I actually want to do this in a spreadsheet. So here I'm going to start a spreadsheet. Let's blow that up a little more. So I want, just like I drew on my paper, I want the country, and I want the country's population. I want the area in square miles, and then I want the population density. And entering those, we have the US and China. US was 309,975,000. We'll put commas in there in a minute. China's population, 1,339,190,000. And let's format those right away as numbers. And then drop the decimal places. So we have just whole numbers there. And we'll adjust the density in a minute. Areas, US, 3,717,000. China, 3,705,000 square miles. And it looks like I typed those correctly. And then the population density, I can just write a formula, equals, and then click on the population, which Google is suggesting I do that, slash to divide, and then click on the area. And it says I clicked on cells B2 and C2 with a division in between. Hit enter. Google's going to ask me to autofill. Do you want to do the same calculation below? And the answer is yes. If you're an Excel user, Excel won't ask. So you can either repeat that formula or click on it, point away, point to the bottom right corner to get that autofill button. Notice my cursor changes shape to that thin plus, then click and drag on that, and that'll copy the formula down. And if I double click on that, I can see that it's using the right numbers in the calculation, population over area. And then usually we use a couple more decimal places. So let's see, did this problem ask for 1 decimal place? All right, so then we're just going to highlight those and say, give me another decimal place. So these would be my answers for the population density, and the density, let's adjust that, would be in people per square mile. Cool. And then if I want to see how many times more dense China is, then let's see down here, I could make that calculation. I could do China over US. And put that over here equals China slash divide US, and it just grabs the numbers above. So I was guessing at about 4 times. China had 4 times the density of the US. This says it's about 4.33 times. So that confirms my estimation from before. Hope this was helpful. Have a great day.